As day one was about adjournments. Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha proceedings were adjourned for a day. The House will meet again on Wednesday. There will be no sitting of both the houses tomorrow as November 6th is being commemorated as the Constitution Day. The opposition going all out to question the government. The Prime Minister setting the tone for Treasury benches by saying that the Congress is far distanced from realities of India and it doesn't really reflect the sentiments of people of India anymore. Let's first listen in to what the Prime Minister said.
हर पीढ़ी का काम है आने वाली पीढ़ियों को तैयार करे, लेकिन 80-80, 90-90 बार जनता ने जिनको लगातार नकार दिया है, वे न संसद में चर्चा होने देते हैं, न लोकतंत्र की भावना का सम्मान करते हैं, न ही वह लोगों की आकांक्षाओं का कोई महत्व समझते हैं, उनका उसके प्रति कोई दायित्व है वो कोई समझ पाते हैं। और उसका परिणाम है वो जनता की उम्मीदों पर कभी भी खरे नहीं उतरते हैं और परिणाम स्वरूप जनता को बार बार उनको रिजेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है।
Well, joining with me, Senior Congress Leader Karthi Chidambaram. Sir, thank you so much for speaking to us. Prime Minister, on the first day of the winter session of Parliament, stressed upon the smooth functioning of Parliament. He stated that some people are self-centric and they want to stall the Parliament. How do you respond?
I agree with the Prime Minister. We must have smooth running of Parliament, but in Parliament also, the opposition must also have the space to raise issues of national concern. While we give adjournment motions, not one adjournment motion is admitted. So if the government, while it has its numbers, must allow the opposition to have its say while they can have their way. But you must give us space also to raise issues of importance which we deem fit.
So he attacked the Congress party as well. He stated that now 70-80 times the Congress leadership had been defeated. It is now new people who wanted to bring their discussions in the Parliament. They should be given space.
See, if the Prime Minister is alluding to the results of a day before yesterday, I hope he noticed the results in Jharkhand, and hope he noticed the results of the by-elections in Karnataka, and hope he noted the results of the by-elections in Madhya Pradesh. It's been a mixed bag. We have won some, they have won some. There's no national trend. Each state votes differently. There are different issues in different states. There are different political grammars in different states, and people vote differently. In fact, there were 2 by-elections for Lok Sabha seats, and in both the seats, the Congress party has won. So can I say that is again a rejection of the government of the day, because we won both those by-elections in Nanded and in Wayanad. So there is no national trend. There are all state-specific issues, constituency-specific issues, which seem to have determined this election.
Well, the first day of winter session of Parliament again witnessed ruckus in both the houses, be it the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and because of that the adjournment took place and now the Parliament will reconvene on 27th of November. Tomorrow is a day when Constitution Day will be celebrated in the old Parliament. But Prime Minister, as his customary soundbite before the session started, spoke about healthy discussions in the Parliament. Prime Minister also stated that some people have self-centric agenda and they wanted to stall the Parliament. Prime Minister also spoke about how the new MP should get ample opportunity to speak as well. Yes, of course, the opposition had strategized on its own. They held separate meetings with India bloc leaders and opposition MPs coming together. They stated that government should reply on the deteriorating situation of law and order in the state of Manipur, why Prime Minister is silent. They also want a discussion on the Sambal incident. They also stated about the issue of air pollution and the train accident that had recently held. Because of the ruckus inside both the houses, the Parliament got adjourned. But the government has stated that they will bring 11 new bills that will be tabled for consideration and passing, and 5 remaining bills for tabling and introduction in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as well. Of course, today we saw opposition MPs writing to the Lok Sabha Speaker, the members who are the part of the JPC as well, who stated that they want an extension to submit its report before the House. But remember, Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju had already stated that if the JPC wants an extension, then they have to reach out to the House, because till the last day of winter session they have to submit its report. If granted, then they can give extension. So certainly there was fiery session. There were a war of words that broke out between both the opposition and treasury benches, and something that is expected in the upcoming days of Parliament as well. The government wants smooth functioning, and that was emphasized by the Prime Minister today at the beginning of winter session as well.
All right, let's bring in the guests now. Aditi Fadnis, senior journalist, is joining us. Rohan Gupta, spokesperson of the Congress. Mumtaz Patel, Congress leader and spokesperson of the Congress party. Aditi Fadnis, beginning with you, we met in the morning at Parliament and we are speaking again in the evening. Not many surprises, I would say, Aditi Fadnis, as far as the day one of Parliament is concerned. But the question is that how much should Indians and citizens of India continue to see these disruptions? You know, we are seeing these repeated adjournments, repeated disruptions, and with no solution in sight. The opposition attacks treasury benches. The treasury benches say that the opposition is not being a responsible opposition.
Well, it can be pretty frustrating if I look at it just from the point of view of an ordinary Indian. But as a parliamentary reporter, I have seen past sessions of Parliament, and frankly, this is no different from exactly what the BJP did about maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago. So Arun Jaitley at that time was leading the charge, and he, in fact, told us once in a briefing that it's actually the responsibility of a responsible opposition to adjourn the House and force the government to address issues which the opposition thinks must be discussed. I mean, let's look at the things that the government has not agreed to do. The government has not agreed to address the issue of China and the border issues. Although now, thankfully, because of the diplomacy and the wisdom of the government, there is now some kind of an agreement between India and China on the border. So surely we should discuss that also. I mean, as an Indian, I would like to know how this agreement was reached and what the terms of the agreement are. You cannot do that until you discuss it in Parliament. Similarly, there are so many instances which would actually benefit from a discussion, and this applies to both the Congress, I mean, both the opposition as well as the treasury benches.
Okay, so who's running away from discussion here? Mumtaz Patel. The question is that, of course, the responsibility of running the Parliament is on treasury benches, but as you heard the Prime Minister, he said that those who have been rejected by the people 70, 80 times are not being responsible, and they are the reasons behind these adjournments.
Well, what is an opposition for in the Parliament? And all those who are sitting there and demanding are elected members of Parliament, and they have an equal right as any other person sitting in the Treasury bench to raise issues of national interest. So what is wrong? I mean, if they had lost, they wouldn't be sitting in Parliament, would they? That is the first thing. And like you said, like they said, that it is the responsibility of an opposition to take on the Treasury bench and the government when it comes to issues of national interest. So I don't see that why would the Prime Minister bring something like this in. It is completely the opposition's right to speak on any issue which they feel is befitting to the nation's interest.
Okay. Rohan, what effort is being made by the government to ensure some kind of meeting point?
So, Maria, I think in the morning also we met before the session started, and you asked me the same question. And I told that intention of opposition is very, very important. And this has been trend. This is not the first time. You see, last 1.5 years, just before the Parliament session starts, some issue comes out of country and the whole opposition wants discussion on that. That's not done. I'm not saying that they cannot discuss any issue, but there is a way, there is a discussion, there is a way of doing things. You cannot just force government to do things as per what you want. Absolutely. Like I think one of the panelists, she gave example of China, and today you know that what is the situation in China. Bilaterally, we are doing well. So I think absolutely opposition is right to do it. There is absolutely no question on that. What about it is intention? What has happened today? If the parliament is adjourned, obviously the kind of time you could have got normally also, you are not going to get it. So I think rather than stalling the thing, saying that no, we want it to be this way, they could have sat with government, and obviously there is always time for everything. And if you remember, Maria, in past, on the Manipur also, there was a complete session which was organized. And what happened? The opposition did the walkout. So when you are getting the opportunity, when government gave you opportunity to speak in parliament, when PM started speaking on Manipur, you walked out. So what are you talking? So it is about the intention of the opposition, which is very, very crucial. And if the intention is good, as Prime Minister said in the morning, absolutely government is ready to work cohesively. And I agree with Aditi ji that if the opposition's role is very clear to create ruckus and do adjournment, I think they are playing their part in that case successfully. But at the end of the day, there is a limit to it, everything. You do something symbolically, that's fine. But session after session, same thing, without resolution, without discussion, I think that's not the way. We are ready to work together, but at the same time, intention of the opposition should be to work together rather than create ruckus and
question
a
here,
political
Mumtaz
point.
Patel, that the opposition wants to create maximum noise in parliament because you realize that the eye of the entire country is on parliament and it's functioning. So so that is the reason why you're raising issues, and rightly so. I would say that opposition's responsibility is to ensure checks and balance, that it should ensure and seek answers from the government. But could that have been done in a manner in which there is debate and not ruckus?
So what is wrong in the opposition asking for a JPC? I mean, the parliament floor, on the parliament floor, the opposition has full rights to demand accountability and transparency. And the issue that they're asking for a JPC, I mean, why does the entire, even before parliament started, the entire BJP brass came out to defend one corporate entity. And I would like to say that it is not about one man, one corporation. It is about safeguarding democracy. There is accountability. I mean, why is there double standards on one particular corporate house? Today, a small little businessman also will be ED will go charging to them for any small little thing. But why is it that the entire BJP has to come out and protect one person? And what is wrong in the opposition seeking accountability? It's as simple as that. JPC means that you all get together, you discuss this. Why is there a ruckus over this anyways? I don't understand.
Okay, Rohan, response from you.
I'd like to respond to that. See, it's not about, if you remember the day this issue came up, when US court demanded certain action or something. What happened? Congress organized the press conference on the last day of the election, and they accused BJP government. That's what I'm saying. BJP has always said it's upon that entity to defend themselves or talk about them. It's not for BJP to talk. But when you question BJP because of some allegations on that entity, that is where BJP will have to react. And if you see the acquisitions made by the court, it is against for bribery in 4 states where BJP is not ruled. One of the states where this has happened is Congress rule. I think Congress definitely should ask the question to that CM, then CM, what has happened, and come out with the white paper, who are the responsible people behind that. So the point here is, when something happens anywhere in the world, you question Modi ji and their government, and then start asking answers from BJP. That's not correct. Let the law take its own course. If the US court has taken some action or they have accused somebody, let the people give chance to reply to them. And then after that, all the accusations are made or allegations are made, they present their case, and if something is found guilty, definitely there is a case to take action. But just on the basis of accusation, you are accusing BJP government that you are responsible. That is not correct, because then you are scoring the political point. And mind you, even in the elections, Maharashtra election on the last day, this issue was raised by Congress party. What happened there? People don't like this, because on the basis of accusation, if you just do that, there are many cases where Congress leaders are accused for many things. Does that mean that they are guilty and you have to take action? No. You have to wait for the final judgment, and then something happens, definitely you are ready. So there are many cases.
Why pronounce someone guilty even while investigation is on?
Absolutely.
No, nobody's. No, that is definitely not. But if you look at the trend in the last 10 years, like a monopoly has been created. That is what Rahulji always says. He's not against corporate houses. He's not against business. He's against monopoly. And the Modi government has created like a monopoly-like situation for a particular company where critical national assets have been given away one by one, from airports to ports to energy to coal mines. Even international projects are given at the behest of the Modi government to one particular business house. And this is what, so obviously when an international issue like this comes up, the opposition will demand that why is the government not looking into it? Like, why is the entire government, the entire Bharatiya Janata Party coming out to protect one corporate house, the Adanis?
Okay,
I'd like to answer that.
Okay, quickly.
See, the
the
question here
is
is
about
not of that
yeah.
specific. See, now again the goalpost is changed. Is the question on Adani given so many contracts, or is the question on Adani been accused for this case? Two are separate things. If you have issue with Adani, raise that issue. That's a different thing. Right now, you are questioning government on the accusation made by US court. And that is why they are only accusations. They are not found guilty. That is what I'm trying to tell. And as far as Adani is concerned, they have got more than 1 lakh crore of projects when the Congressful UPA government was there in power. So would you question the UPA government also? So these are all double standards. You know, Maria, my simple point is, if somebody is found guilty, definitely government's responsibility to take action against that. They are not found guilty. It is accusation. It is for them to answer for themselves why these accusations made. How can you question BJP government for the accusation made by US court against one entity where BJP has to do nothing?
Is the entire India bloc of the opinion that this is the most integral issue that should be raised, or are there more concerning issues within the country?
Of course, there are more concerning issues within the country, and frankly, the Congress has met the government halfway. They have sided with the government on the issue of Canada and the whole Sikh issue. So it's not as if it's all one-sided, but I think the government should also listen sometimes when the opposition is trying to make a point. And this is not just, creation of monopolies or business house. There are so many other issues which have to be discussed. Why is the government not raising the issue, not accepting an adjournment motion on Manipur? It has to be addressed. I mean, granted that it's a state subject, that it's a separate state. Rajya Sabha is a house of states. You can discuss it there. You have Manipur MPs there. They should be given a right to speak. I mean, not a single, we do not have this example of a single adjournment motion that the government has accepted. Surely everything that the opposition is raising cannot be wrong.
Rohan,
I'd like to answer that.
Yes.
Very briefly.
Yes.
Again, with due respect with Aditi ji, you remember that last time the whole session was organized for Manipur. PM stood in the parliament, he started speaking, and what the opposition did, they walked out. Where is the discussion? So when you are given the opportunity, you don't accept it, and you want government to follow what you say. So what do you want? Exactly, you want just political point to be scored. Parliament is not the place just to score political point. It is all elections. Elections are over now. There are no elections for next 2-3 months. Let's focus on the country. Let's focus on the development. Let's focus on the discussion. Maybe Manipur can be one of the discussion, but you just want it to be focused on Manipur. When you are given opportunity, you have missed that opportunity. So what are the chances that you'll do again? Because you just want to score political point. That is not the solution. At the end of the day, we can fight outside the parliament, we can fight in the elections, we can fight against each other when we speak in the election rallies. But when you are in parliament, you have to be responsible. At the end of the day, definitely you can question government, but the end objective should be to find solution rather than creating ruckus and political...
The question is that if after 10 years, you agreed for a JPC on one issue, which was the Waqf bill, then the opposition feels that there are other issues on which there can be further deliberations. Bills can be sent to standing committees also. So, the question is that can the opposition not be seen as confrontationist or anti-you rather than being seen as questioning and seeking answers, Rohan?
See,
opposition is not your enemy.
But for that, I completely agree with you. But for that, the tone should be of discussion and not to impose what opposition wants to do. My simple point is that you are in parliament, you want discussion, you just follow the process. Again, I'm giving an example of the session on Manipur. The whole session was organized, and what opposition is to walk out. So you cannot get this opportunity again and again that government trusts you and you betray the trust and do whatever you want. That's my saying. So there is a loss of trust between the opposition party and the ruling
Yes,
party.
that
So now
trust
this-
deficit,
Absolutely.
I agree. So if there is a trust deficit, then who will walk that extra mile to bridge that huge gap between the two, between the treasury benches and opposition? That's the question, Mumtaz. Is the opposition also ready to accept that the Modi government is in its third term? Sometimes, you know, electoral losses tend to be seen differently. The government is of the opinion that you have not accepted Prime Minister Modi as the Prime Minister till now.
No, see, the government might be in its third term. I mean, we've had Congress government term after term, yet
Yes.
Indira Gandhi's government was thrown out after the emergency. And it is the right of the opposition to question and to dissent. However, we have noticed in the last 10 years, notice what it's apparent that this government wants to behave just like a dictatorship and is always suppressing dissenting voices. I mean, you don't want any meaningful conversations in parliament at all. Whenever the opposition tries to bring any issue, it is just termed as drama.
All right. We have really come to the end of this discussion. It certainly appears that that trust deficit that we keep talking about is going to continue even in this winter session. Whether there'll be any legislation, well, the government of the day, we have seen in the past, will push its bills that is there on its agenda. Mumtaz Patel, Rohan Gupta and Aditi, thank you so much for joining us. Joining me now is Shambhavi Chaudhary, LJP MP, a young MP, in fact, one of the youngest MPs in 18th Lok Sabha. Shambhavi, I'm sure you have certain expectations out of Parliament. You know, as a first-time parliamentarian, do you think these disruptions have started almost to define how Parliament is? Unfortunately, it is more about disruptions, less about debates.
Of course, we've seen in the last session also, and this session also, the very first day the session got adjourned. I think this is more like a threat to the democracy, because we're not being able to engage in a healthy discussion about what our constituency needs, about what the country needs. We're not being able to discuss the policies, whatever motions, whatever business has been laid for the House. We're not being able to stick to that. And not only as a representative of the people, but also as a first-time MP, I feel that we are losing on a lot of time where we could engage in a healthy conversation, learn from opposition as well as the government, learn from people who've had more experience. And, you know, it's very sad that we work so hard. The people have expectations from us. And when we come here, we're not being able to deliver because the session just gets adjourned.
That's right. But the opposition is very well within its rights to question the government of the day, because it's seeking answers and seeking transparency on a number of questions. But what we have seen is that the opposition is actually following what Mr. Arun Jaitley famously said, one of the tallest leaders of the BJP, that disruption is a form of parliamentary proceeding, and opposition should carry on with it if they feel that that is a strong form of messaging. So as someone who is from the treasury benches, because LJP is part of the government, what's your thought on that?
But I think there are other tools also. There is the 0 hour, there is the question hour, then there is a business advisory committee where, you know, if the opposition wants to discuss something, if they want to put forward a topic where they want to have a conversation, they can always use BAC as a tool to, you know, put forward their words, put forward their thoughts. But us time pe they never say anything. And when the House has come together, then there is a whole hangama and they want to disrupt the entire session. The session gets adjourned. And also you have to see there are so many first timers also in this session. You have to respect the fact that we've come forward from the time where disruption could be used as a tool to you know, show dissent. But now I think we're in an era where we can use different tools to show something that we don't like, something that we dislike. We can use different measures also to engage in a conversation. I don't see disruption as a healthy tool to, you know, not engage with the government.
All right, tomorrow is the Constitution Day, certainly an important day for India. The charge that the Modi government is facing is that it doesn't really work within the framework of the constitution. Of course, after the Maharashtra victory and before that Haryana, many say that constitution debate has been settled, something that was raised repeatedly by Rahul Gandhi during the course of the Lok Sabha polls. Do you think this debate around the constitution that the government of the day doesn't follow the constitution in its letter and spirit is valid?
See, I honestly feel that there is nothing being done by the government which is out of the constitution. And if something is not being right, that's not for the opposition. Opposition always will come forward and make these, awful, weird attacks on the government. I remember during my election campaign also, there was a whole narrative that if NDA comes to power, they will remove reservation, they will change the constitution, but that is not possible. And to set such narratives, to set false narratives and mislead the people of the country, I think that in itself is the violation of the whole spirit of constitution. I think the NDA government very much is within practices whatever they do within the constitution and within whatever the constitution allows us to do.
All right, Shambhavi Chaudhary, LJP MP, one of the youngest MPs in Parliament. It is important to hear your voice as well, because this is the new generation of MPs we are seeing in Parliament. What are their thoughts as sloganeering, placards and disruptions continue? Thank you so much for joining us here on NDTV. The entire discussion on ndtv.com. That's all from me. Thanks so much for watching, and we have Vishnu right here in the studio.
Thanks very much. We've got a packed episode of Left, Right and Centre coming up after a short break. Constitution Day, you were talking about that. Well, Rahul Gandhi says he wants to speak on Constitution Day, but the government says the Prime Minister is speaking. Why should he necessarily speak? We've also looking at the big political topic out of Maharashtra. Who's going to be the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra? And finally, Maria, the most inspirational person, as far as I'm concerned, and probably half of India, Yashasvi Jaiswal. Think about it. From Pani Puri seller to being the hottest property in international cricket. All of that and a lot more coming up on Left, Right and Centre after this short break.
Hello, Moto.
In today's interconnected world, India's voice is more crucial than ever. When India speaks, the world listens. At NDTV World, we are that voice.